Mullen is on your right. Eldrazi versus Goryo's Deathvine. Name a deck whatever you want to.
Wow, that Google search will not yield much relevant information to someone who is not already aware of what is going on.
It'll yield the deck list, most likely. And they'll be searching for it via Bing, Patrick. That's people's search engine of choice. And Urza's Power Plant there from Chris O'Brien is how we're going to start round number 5.
I would have to imagine this matchup, at least game 1, has to be great for Mullen.
I would hope so. I would hope so. Again, Collins coming off of a runner-up finish at Grand Prix recently, losing to Matt Severa in the finals. So congratulations to him on that at Grand Prix Washington, D.C. Down to 17 goes Collins. He'll get a Blood Crypt, and now he'll play a Faithless Looting. So 2 cards on the way. Verdant Catacombs is 1, Street Wraith is another. One of your favorite cards there in Street Wraith.
Just this deck has two of the top. I guess we've just given this card a free pass. It's legal.
What are the 2 Street Wraith and?
Simian
Spirit Guide, yeah. Okay. Going to discard a Spirit Guide and a Swamp. Will Collins. And now he'll cycle a Street Wraith down to 15. And there's a hollow. Okay, a couple of hollow ones. That's not a bad turn 1.
No.
That's not a bad turn 1.
No, hollow one is a really potent enabler for this.
Yeah.
Ooh, Chalice of the Void.
Here's a Matter Reshaper. That'll be chump blocking soon here, most likely. A little double hollow one to start. Let's take a look at hollow one. For those unfamiliar with the new-ish 4/4. Not too hard to play for this deck. As here's a Thoughtseize targeting Christopher O'Brien. He's got 2 Reality Smashers, an Endbringer, and a Chalice of the Void along with an Eldrazi Tempo. Hollow one, 5 mana, 4/4. Costs 2 less to cast for each card you cycled, or discarded this turn. When you play Faithless Looting, you discard 2 cards, which means it's going to cost 1. Cycle of Street Wraith means it costs none. So he's able to play 2 for free.
It's a very nice hand here for O'Brien. Matter Reshaper, the Reality Smashers here.
Did a nice job of block.
Good for blocking.
Yeah, good for block.
Gotta block a little bit here.
Or you could go on attacking.
Whichever.
Have you considered that?
It's modal.
Yeah. Modal or modal?
Like,
which is it, modal or modal?
Like most creatures, in that it can attack and block. And you get to do that right away.
That's haste. That's what that is.
That is that mechanic.
Sharp. You are sharp.
I'm on my game.
Yeah.
I'm on my game. 12 months off, but still got it.
Yeah. There goes the Reality Smasher. O'Brien's almost time for him to take his turn. I'm going to see Mullins play a Verdant Catacombs pass the turn back. We'll go over to Chris. He's going to play another Temple, play a Reality Smasher. I'm curious if he's going to attack or not. I think he is. Yeah, he gets attack for 8, put Mullins down to 5, and he's not facing lethal back and doesn't have to worry about a Vengevine, it appears.
Though, it may not even be on his radar. But yeah, there's nothing. I would not be playing around in this spot either.
You know, Simian Spirit Guide plus a land could crank out a Vengevine, though. Just saying.
Well, you're needing double green.
Well, if he had searched for a green land
Right.
there, that could have been something that could happen. That's off the table now. So now we go back over to Collins. Picked up a Gurmag Angler.
That's a blocker.
That's big. Big and it blocks. Costs 1 mana right now. Don't have a great look at Collins' hand past that. But this is a deck that we've done a deck tech on here this weekend. So if you guys want to check that out, coverage page is where you're going to want to go over at StarCityGames.com. Learn more about what the heck is going on with this weird Goryo's Vengeance, Death Shadow, Vengevine, Hollow One, Faithless Lootings, Gristlebrands, all sorts of weird stuff going on in here.
A lot of different busted things sort of woven into one big cohesive engine.
Yeah. right now, as an example, Death Shadow would be 9/9. And Collins obviously not too sure what he wants to do this turn. Well, he's made his decision. He'll be coming in for 8.
I mean, on board, the Gurmag Angler is good here. He doesn't die on the way back, and he's attacking for lethal on the following turn.
Yeah.
So,
like you said, on board it's good.
right.
Not sure what Chris drew. Collins looks like he wants to play Bloodstained Mire. Doesn't want to sacrifice that, obviously. That'll bring him down to 3, which would make Matter Reshaper lethal. Well, Tronic can be online soon here for O'Brien. Here's 6 mana. He's just going to play an Endbringer and probably not attack. Yeah, just pass the turn back.
Can't attack for lethal, which is why I like Mullen playing the Bloodstained Mire here. He doesn't have to sacrifice it if O'Brien makes the attack, obviously. And now if he wants the mana, it's available.
Mullins will sacrifice the Bloodstained Mire. He's going to go down to 3. Looks like he's thinking Overgrown Tomb. Maybe Blood Crypt, though. He will get a Blood Crypt. And now we're going to go back over to Collins. He's got a Cathartic Reunion and Goryo's Vengeance in hand. Draw a card. Bristlebrand.
Well, I mean, if he wants to cast the Cathartic Reunion, it doesn't matter so much what his draw step is.
I mean, if he plays Cathartic Reunion, discards 2 cards, discards Bristlebrand, and discards Goryo's Vengeance, he could do that. He's just going to replay Faithless Looting from the graveyard, so he'll draw 2.
I think the line here is just flash back the looting and set up for next turn.
He can discard Gristlebrand and something else here. He's going to discard Gristlebrand and Cathartic Reunion.
Mullen is also safe on the way back.
For now.
Now, what complicates matters here is that Mullen knows that O'Brien has a Chalice of the Void in hand. So let's see if Brian here. Okay.
How's Ulamog? How's top deck?
That makes it easy.
How's top deck Ulamog? To go along with that tower to make it Tron to kill your things and kill you.
A savvy Chalice might have gotten the job done there.
Okay.
Ulamog makes it a lot easier.
Makes it a lot easier, I would say, yes. Christopher O'Brien going to win game number 1 here over Collins Mullen. Eldrazi Tron going to win game number 1 over Goryo's Vengeance Goryo's Deathvine, thanks to the power.
I'm not calling it that.
Well, I will.
Okay.
I will because it's there. Thanks to the power of Ulamog. Thanks to the power of Ulamog. We'll take a look at the sideboards here. We'll start with Collins, who's got 3 Liliana of the Veil, 3 Collective Brutality, 3 Abrupt Decay, 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Nile Spellbomb, an Ancient Grudge, and a Pyroclasm. Maybe Thoughtseize? No, none of these really stand out to be great against the Eldrazi Tron deck.
Yeah, I would probably present about the same 60. Maybe a Liliana, maybe Thoughtseize, but I would sideboard very light.
For O'Brien, 2 Warping Whale, 2 Hangerback Walker, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Ratchet Bomb, 2 Relic Progenitus, a Basilisk Collar, a Pithing Needle, and a Crucible of Worlds. So he's actually got a lot of ways to kind of go after the graveyard if he'd like to.
Yeah, well, the thing is that Mullen's deck can also just sort of play the Hollow One game, so it's not like these graveyard cards just shut him out, but I would still imagine Grafdigger's Cage and Surgical Extraction to be net positive in the matchup for O'Brien.
Well, those are the options there for both players in game number 2. Going to be underway here in just a moment. One thing that we did announce this week is regionals and how it's coming back November 4th. Modern will be the format of choice, and we've got all the details for that awesome tournament with a ton of cash and prizes and SCG points for you right now.
Don't miss the StarCityGames.com Season 2 Regional Championships. On November 4th, play Modern at any one of the 10 regional locations across the U.S. The first 200 players to register for each event will receive a Hammer and Scale playmat and Kraken token just for signing up. Regional championships are part of the SCG Tour with SCG points for all players. Top 8 competitors earn a trophy, a share of $5,000, and a spot on the Season 2 SCG Invitational. Visit go.starcitygames.com/regionals to learn more.
November 4th, Regional Championships. Hopefully we'll see you there. Awesome playmat, awesome token. Lots of cash and prizes on the line. And you can be like Collins Mullen and keep winning here, even though he is down a game. Player that we saw get second place at Grand Prix Washington, D.C. And he's really been putting a couple different decks on the map recently, most notably Scape Shift. And his take on Titan Shift with Hour of Promise and kind of being all in with Kalani Art Expedition and a bunch of stuff. But now he's trying out this Goryo's Deathfind deck that is doing a lot of different things. Seen this deck a little bit on Magic Online, a little bit in real life results. It is a little all over the place for a deck that doesn't have, you know, your Ponders, Brainstorms, Sleight of Hands of the world.
But a lot of the lines, you know, it's a couple different disconnected things going on, but it all leads to the same place. I mean, you're playing super efficient, almost cheating Magic, whether you're doing the Vengevine Hollow 1 thing or the Goryo's Vengeance Gristlebrand thing, and all those lines interact very well with looting and with cycling, so it looks a little disconnected, but the shell feels cohesive to me. It's all part of the same thing.
Have we ever really seen a deck like this before where it's just kind of jamming a bunch of shells together? I mean, I think of Dark Depths, Vampire Hexmage, Thopter Foundry, Sword of the Meek, and Extended, you know, at the beginning of the decade, but that deck was also blue, had a lot of tutors and stuff like that, where this really doesn't.
Yeah, that feels like two separate decks smashed together, and you can get away with it because the card drawing and the tutoring is so good. This is a little bit different in that it's two different shells, but the enablers for both shells are about the same.
It is definitely trying to do some busted things. I mean, that was a game where we saw 2 4/4s on turn 1, and it was no good, which is kind of a wild thing to say, honestly.
Yeah, play draw, huge in this kind of match.
Definitely a big deal. Collins was on the draw that game. Had he been on the play, probably a lot easier. Both these players taking a look at their opening hands. O'Brien up a game thanks to the power of the Eldrazi, most notably Ulamog in that first game. For Mullen, it was a really good start in game number 1 with 2 hollow ones on turn 1 in the draw, but not quite enough, as now it looks like he's going to send his hand back, and O'Brien will do the same thing. So these players will be taking a look at 6 cards here in a moment. And while they go back to the drawing board, we will go to the StarCityGames.com newsletter, which is your source for Magic Gathering news, just yours. It can be mine too, but it's also yours.
Well, you can sign up for free over at go.starcitygames.com/newsletter. A lot of information about the going-ons of Star City Games with highlights from some of our best articles, upcoming SCG tour dates and locations, StarCityGames.com invitational qualifiers and game nights closest to you, an exclusive cardboard crack comic, and as mentioned, signing up is free over at go.starcitygames.com/newsletter.
Free, great word.
Free.
I'll tell you what, great word.
Free photos of Ross Merriam in your inbox.
Tom Ross has come over and he's done we're going to have to get a photo of that, I think.
Put him in the rack.
He's doing the Lex Luger torture rack. You know how,
yeah.
What do they call it? I should know this since I'm trying to work in professional wrestling. They're calling for it. He's calling for the rack before he puts him up, making a signal for the move. That's what Tom just did.
Yeah, I don't know what the...
Is there a name for them calling for it?
There has to be.
Right? Signaling for it? Tom is looking extra fit today, so he could definitely put some gamers up in the rack.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything about it, because you never know. But with him training to be a fire person.
A fire person?
Yeah.
You mean firefighter?
Sure.
Yeah. A fire person?
Firefighter.
Okay, that's better. Keep going.
Firefighter is a really weird turn of phrase, but that's fine.
Okay.
He looks like he's been in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? In a hilarious turn of events, both players have mulligan to 6 here, and both players forgot to scry from their mulligan.
Well, it's fine if you're the fetch land person. I don't scry on the play all the time.
Because you just know you're going to fetch?
Yeah.
Just off it.
Nothing on top of my deck could change this decision.
Well, here's a land. There's an expedition map. Maybe the scry would have mattered here. Most of the time it does. We'll see. Hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, as a good friend of ours likes to say. Blood Crypt is where Colin started things off. He's at 15, so maybe this is going to be a Death Shadow game. He already played a Faithless Looting Gristlebrand's in the graveyard, so it could be a Goryo's Vengeance game. Bloodstained Mire is going to bring Collins down to at least 14, maybe a little lower than that. He's going to get a Blood Crypt, so let's make it 12. How many green lands he's got? He's got an Overgrown Tomb and a Stomping Ground. Okay, so he can hardcast Vengevine.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the plan here.
He's going to do something a little better. Surgical Extraction is going to take care of Gristlebrand, so never mind. That's not going to happen.
Let's see the goods.
So there goes Gristle B. Let's see what Colin's hand is. Death Shadow, Cathartic Reunion, Blood Crypt.
Not terrible leftovers. It's a threat card plus a way to rebuild.
Yeah.
The Surgical Extraction, obviously devastating for Mullen. This could have been game over.
Easily game over.
Instead, got a lot of work to do.
I've seen worse hands. There go the Gristlebrands, which means the Goryo's Vengeances are going to be pretty bad moving forward. So Surgical kind of solves one piece to the puzzle, I guess I would say.
Yeah, the reanimation is way worse now.
Yeah.
Mullen's going to have to win off of Hollow One and Vengevine and Death Shadow maybe. Much harder to do.
Let's go over to Chris O'Brien. He's drawn a copy of Dismember. He'll play an Eldrazi Temple. And he's thinking about playing Matter Reshaper. Not sure if he wants to tap out this turn or not, though. Especially when you know your opponent has Death Shadow and you've just drawn a copy of Dismember. Looks like he's going to wait.
I think he wants to map for a land to be able to cast Thought-Knot Seer next turn. Because if Mullen line, let's say, is you Cathartic Reunion and play Death Shadow, then really good to follow up that line with just casting a Matter Reshaper.
Here's Death Shadow. That'll be a 3/3, and now O'Brien is going to sacrifice his map.
And now, if Mullen only does this, then you get to Matter Reshaper the Cathartic Reunion. He's got very little going on.
Yeah. So O'Brien is going to go get another copy of Eldrazi Temple. He'll draw a card. He'll play the Temple. Here comes Thought-Knot Seer. Trigger. We'll take a look at the hand. Insolent Neonate and Cathartic Reunion.
Now you can just dismember the Death Shadow if you want to, and now it's Insolent Neonate against your hand.
Yeah, probably not too hard.
Yeah, this is a really good setup here for O'Brien.
And the hand's pretty good there. 2 Matter Reshapers and a Basilisk card there for Chris. So, draw a card here, Will Mullen. Didn't get a great look at it.
Was it Vengevine?
I think you are right. Here comes Insolent Neonate. Sacrifice, discard Vengevine, draw a card. The whiff, pass the turn back. We go to O'Brien. He's drawn another Matter Reshaper in for 4. Mullen's going to fall down to 6. Remember, this is a Death Shadow deck, so it does deal itself some damage, which means that now with Matter Reshaper and the Basilisk Collar, Collins Mullen is facing lethal. He'll draw. I didn't get a great look at it, but I don't think he's got much to do. He is thinking a little bit here, though. I'm not sure what's in the hand here for Collins. Here is Liliana of the Veil. He will minus. Matter Reshaper will bite the dust. There will be a trigger, top card. Power Plant right onto the battlefield. Liliana down to 1. O'Brien will untap and draw. I think it may have been another Thought-Knot Seer. Regardless, in for 4. Mullen's down to 2. Don't care about Liliana. Matter Reshaper 1, Matter Reshaper 2, gonna be a hard game to win now. Collins will draw. I see at least 1 land over there. This looks like it might be a Faithless Looting. It's actually going to be an Insolent Neonate. All right, sack, discard, draw a card. What the heck could this be? Not good enough. Christopher O'Brien's going to win this game and match over Collins Mullen 2-0. Eldrazi Tron will take care of Goryo's Death Vine, whether you like the name or not.